Lads, lasses and the rest of the masses, welcome back to the channel. I'm Mono from Mono CFC and this is a match preview for Chelsea versus Brighton. This is the series on the channel where I'll be previewing every match of this season, laying out my expectations, lineups and more. Welcome back to the lead-in. Our second game in pre-season sees Chelsea travelling to Philadelphia to take on Europa League bound Brighton and Hove Albion at the Lincoln Financial Field in the Premier League Summer Series. As usual, I'm going to be going through the lineups that I believe will play, including personnel and tactics. So, without further ado, let's look at our opponents for this match. Brighton have been somewhat of a revelation this season just gone, punching well above their weight and getting into the Europa League with a new brand of attractive attacking football. They did the double over us in the league last year, but then again so did pretty much everyone, so there will no doubt be vengeance on the mind of many of the players at Chelsea for this one. We have formed somewhat of a bubbling rivalry over the last few months, with situations off of the pitch taking centre stage, namely the transfer business between the two clubs, or lack thereof. Despite their great form, they still come into this game against us on paper as underdogs, but this will no doubt be a very competitive, very feisty game between two very talented groups of players. Brighton will be looking to extend their winning streak against us to 3 games in a row. So how will they plan on trying to achieve that? Let's look at the team. Brighton, managed by the excellent mind of Italian Roberto Di Zerbi, like to play in a variety of formations, but I will be putting them into what I believe to be their strongest, the 4-2-3-1. The team still has the same core, with a few new additions that will likely get some minutes in this one. I predict a rather strong first 11 as a game against Chelsea represents a good opportunity to get match sharpness for the major players in the side. First up in goal is the newly acquired Bart Verbruggen. The 20-year-old Dutchman looks set to be the new number 1 for Brighton this season upcoming, with Robert Sanchez eyeing a move away and Jason Steele still playing second fiddle. This seems to be another snide bit of business from Brighton, as he didn't cost them very much and seems to have a very bright future ahead of him. For the back 4, it's slightly changed from what they would usually play, with Joel Veltman filling in at right back. I do believe that ex-Chelsea man Tariq Lamptey will get some minutes in this game, but I expect to see him off of the bench if I'm being perfectly honest. In the centre will be the ever-reliable captain for the Seagulls, Lewis Dunk, and alongside him will be Levi... oh wait, oops. But in all seriousness, in the left centre-back spot will be Adam Webster. To the left of him will be the impressive Ecuadorian Pervis Estupiñán, who will no doubt be trying his best to get up and down as always. Moving into the midfield pivot, and this is the hardest part of their team to pick as they have a lot of depth here. This could be any combination of their midfielders, but I'm going to go with the pairing of ex-Chelsea man Billy Gilmore next to the brand new signing Mahmoud Dahoud. There is a very glaring omission here, and that is the controversial figure of Moises Caicedo. De Zerbi has said that due to Caicedo only being in the training camp for 2 days, he will not feature in this one, which is a massive boost for us both on the pitch and off the pitch as we continue to hold talks and will likely finish those talks in the US. Brighton also need to give minutes to James Milner as well, who has also just signed for the club, who could well start here too. The 3 in attacking midfield are likely to be the recurring figures of the rejuvenated Solly March on the right, Japanese superstar Kaoru Mitoma, and in the centre I'm going to put in the final piece of the trio, Julio Enciso, who was getting regular minutes towards the end of last season. And finally, in the striker spot, I'm going to be putting in brand new striker João Pedro, instead of Evan Ferguson or Danny Welbeck. I think that, like we did with Jackson in the last game, Brighton will want to test out their new man up top as soon as possible, with Ferguson coming off of the bench for the second half. In terms of how Brighton play, we've seen it all before in the league. High press, high energy, fast, snappy attacking play with Mitoma and March in the wide areas trying to cause nightmares. They're great at playing out from the back and beating the press, so much so that they invite the press to happen in order to play around it. I think the danger men to look out for in particular for this one will be Mitoma and Enciso, and I wouldn't be surprised if either of them pops up with a goal. Like I said for Wrexham in the previous lead-in, Brighton are also a scary prospect from set pieces, with Lewis Dunk being phenomenal in the air. We'll have to be sharp in order to counteract this, especially with our goalkeepers slash centre-backs not being the tallest in this one. Now, from the Seagulls to the Lions, let's talk about our boys in blue. But before we do, I'd like to ask you to please subscribe to the channel. We are so close to 15k, and only about 5% of my viewers are actually subscribed. So if you want to join that exclusive group and help us achieve that goal, hit that subscribe button and join the masses. Starting with the formation, I believe Poch will start with a 4-2-3-1 again, but I think this will develop more into a 4-2-4 during the match, which I'll touch on a bit later. I think this system suited us best out of the two we played against Wrexham in midweek, and I definitely don't want to see any 3 at the back formations from now on. We've done that experiment, no need for it anymore, especially against much stronger opposition. I will be putting us into only one starting 11 this time, but I do foresee major changes at half time despite the step up in competition. We still have some absentees / players that aren't ready to play yet, so this will not be our strongest side by any means, but I do think we'll play a very strong lineup for the start. Poch has rightly said that at Chelsea there is no such thing as a friendly, and especially against Brighton of all teams, I think we're going to aim to dismantle them like we did to Wrexham in the previous game. So first up, in goal is Kepa Arrizabalaga. As he didn't play at all in the last game with Jamie Cumming and Bergstrom filling this role instead, there is almost zero chance he doesn't play for the majority of this game. I still believe that Gargos Lanina should get some minutes too, so hopefully he comes on at half time and we get to see how he handles himself against some rather strong opponents. For the back 4, there will be some changes to this from the last game. Some players that did not feature last time out will likely start this time out, but the constant at right back is Malo Gusto, who will most likely continue at right back as Reece James has only just joined the squad and won't be ready for this one. For the centre backs, it's going to be a different pairing from last time, with Thiago Silva coming into the side as he was omitted from the squad last time out. It'll be good to see how he gets on in his first game and see if he's back up to his brilliant best. Next to him is going to be Alfie Gilchrist. We are being forced into making this change for a few reasons. Bashir Humphreys played the full 90 only a few days ago, Levi Colwill hasn't trained enough yet according to Poch, and Trevor Chalobah is nursing a small knock to his Achilles. Our other centre-backs haven't travelled with the squad due to injury, so I expect Alfie to take this spot. I think he did perfectly well when he came on after half time, and this game should provide a great test to the young lad. On the left is going to be Ian Matson. He is in great form, scoring a brace last game, and should be rewarded for the great shift he put in. I put him in this role over Cucurella because Cucu played a lot of minutes last time out, and over Chilwell because I don't think Ben had a particularly great game, and probably needs a little more training before returning into the side. For the midfield, we are still unfortunately without Enzo Fernandez as he returns from his holiday, with Poch stating that he will likely be using a young midfield for this game. In that case, I think Andre Santos is a guarantee to start as he transitions into playing regularly for the first team, with Lewis Hall playing alongside him on the left. There's definitely a chance that Hall's place is actually taken by Carney Chukwuemeka, and I have no qualms with this. Despite his player of the match performance in the last game, I'm choosing to rest Cesare Casadei because he played the entire 90 minutes last time out. For the attacking midfielders, I'm going for another mix-up. Noni Madueke will get his first chance to impress after being rested after his €121 stint putting him a little behind schedule. I expect Angelo Gabriel to come off of the bench to replace him at half time, and I'm excited to see both of these two off of this right hand side. On the opposite flank, I'm going to be reluctantly putting in Raheem Sterling. I don't think he had the greatest game against Wrexham, but as Mudryk is another player not yet ready to start, and the other options of Angelo and Diego Moreira being left-footers, I think Poch will opt for the experience of Sterling against these tougher opponents instead. For the central role, it's going to be Christopher Nkunku, but I doubt he will actually play as a cam as the formation suggests. As I said earlier, I think he will most likely push up higher as a second striker, finally getting the chance to show all us Chelsea fans what we've been waiting to see, a striker partnership with the utterly impressive Nico Jackson. I didn't get to talk much about Jackson in my match review, so I will touch on him here a little. I've been singing this guy's praises since before we even bought him, and I'm so glad that we have him at the club. I think he's going to form a great relationship with Christo behind him, and let's hope that in this game someone actually spots his runs, because he was completely ignored last time out. Now, as for how we will play, I think it's going to be very similar to how we played against Wrexham, honestly, and I'll touch on that style in a second, but first, for the question of the day, what would your starting 11 be for this match? Let me know in the comments down below, and I might highlight your comment in the next video. Alright, so how will we play? Well, I have touched on the specifics of Poch's 4-2-3-1 in the past in this video, which will be linked in the top right corner if you haven't seen it, and in the description for those of you using mobile devices. But as a quick refresher, Poch will demand energy and running from this team once again. The players have been very vocal about the large amount of running they have been doing in training, and that's all in preparation to bring that level of energy into matches. I don't think we will press as much in this game, as Brighton are very good at beating presses, though that will be hard for them to do without Caicedo, admittedly. Instead, I think we'll opt to try and win the ball in the middle of the pitch, rather than in the final third, and try to bring balls in behind for Jackson and Nkunku. The fullbacks will have the license to get up high, and Maatsen I think especially will be key to our build-up. We didn't utilise the wide areas well enough in the second half of last game, so I hope that is something we have worked on and will be much more dangerous once that issue gets solved. I expect to see us play that high tempo, quick 1-2 touch passing again, with Jackson acting as the anchor to bounce balls off of and play around the corner, like he did in the first game to great effect. I think this is going to be a great game, very competitive and gritty, and hopefully we get to see the rougher side of our team in this one, as both sets of players will be trying their best to win this one. As always, I'll be live tweeting my reactions to the game during each and every match over on Twitter, so if you don't follow me over there yet, make sure you do so you don't miss that. For a score prediction, I'm going to say 2-1 Chelsea. Brighton's defence is much better than Wrexham's, so I think this one will be close, but I do believe that our team is more than good enough to beat Brighton, especially because our team is much fitter. I think our goals will come from Jackson and Nkunku in the first half, with Julio and Ciso scoring a long-range effort for the opposition. But that was just my lead-in match preview for Chelsea vs Brighton. Thank you ever so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on these possible lineups in the comment section below, and if you'd be so kind, subscribe to the channel and leave the video a like if you enjoyed. Don't forget to tap the notification bell so you never miss a video from me, or check out some of the other videos on the channel on screen right now. I've been Mono from MonoCFC, and remember, in the rain or in the dry, keep that blue flag flying high. Come on you Blues!